Anyhow, 7:53 right now, and a whole lot to get to today, including, later this afternoon at after Say Yes to Life with Peter Range, Bishop Thomas with the weekly Bishop's Corner program. And as Dave mentioned a few minutes ago, the bishop picks out a question that kind of is a highlight of the 5 questions he's addressing on each week's show. And today, you're going to hear this one about leaving Mass early.
I'll go to Tim in Fremont, dear Bishop.
Fremont in the house. Thank you very much.
My dad is in his upper 70s, as has been taking off after he does his prayer following communion, but before the final blessing. He is concerned that staying the extra time might mean he will miss food service at the assisted living place where he lives. Someone told me that leaving before the final blessing is a mortal sin. Is this correct? And how do I reconcile this? Thanks, Tim.
So, Tim, thank you so much for such a thoughtful question. And it's interesting to note that even around our studio here, folks said in even reviewing this question that it seems like fewer and fewer people are leaving the church, which seemed to be a little more frequently practiced before. It seems less so today. So I guess, to get to the heart of your question, you're saying, he leaves before the final blessing. Well, is this a mortal sin? It depends on the circumstance, but I don't think, given, I have no idea what your father's mental state is, what his age is. Obviously, he's concerned about getting his meal. I think we would have to say missing Mass on Sunday is a mortal sin, right? Which we would have to go to confession for. But if I'm leaving church a little bit, maybe that's not so much in the same category. Now, I think we would also have to say, what's he concerned about, Tim? He's concerned about making sure he gets his food. Well, how can you help him? How can you assist him to remain in church for the time that he needs to? And I don't know how far away his assisted living place is. I don't know if he gets in a van. I don't know if you go to Mass with him. I would say, how can you address his concern? That would be my pastoral first outreach. We know to attend Mass means attending to the point of hearing the closing prayer. That's when Mass officially concludes, technically, because then there can be announcements and everything else, but they're outside of Mass. And the only thing left then, of course, is for the final blessing. So I would say he'd want the blessing, right? I think you'd talk to him about, well, Dad, you're depriving yourself of the blessing if he leaves before the blessing. Or, as you say, takes off after he does his prayer following communion. Well, that means he's taking off even before the closing prayer. So that's not good. I would say, see if you can't, Tim, get to the heart of why is he leaving? And maybe you can alleviate his fears about not getting to the assisted living facility in time. Maybe you can do that by taking him yourself, having someone else care for him in that regard, or maybe you talk to the assisted living facility, and maybe they put a meal away for him if there's really a concern that he's not going to get food. I doubt that's the case. So I think to get to the bottom of what's his concern, and then imagine if you even got to the point, Dad, they're going to put a meal away for you on Sunday. And that will be, even if it needs to go in the microwave, they're going to have food for you when you get there. I would attend to his concern first. And why does he feel that fear of not being able to be fed?
Okay. Thank you, Bishop.
Another great response to a terrific question. Bishop's Corner, you will hear that question and the rest of them this afternoon at 4:30. And then, of course, on Friday and Saturday as well, Bishop's Corner, the longest-running program here on Annunciation Radio. Thank you so much, Bishop Thomas.